Alright, you ready for me to start the game?
Yeah, I think let's do it. So we've got SEGA Australia, Studios Australia versus 2K Australia, team number 1. And this is game 1 of the grand finals of the Play World Cup.
Yes, it is.
Oh my god, this is exciting.
This is exciting.
I'm psyched.
You are psyched. I just want to be that kind of like commentator who just repeats what you say. So like I don't actually add anything to the discussion. You're like, this is really exciting. I'm like, yeah, James, this is actually thrilling. I could just repeat everything.
That's awesome, but you just use a synonym for everything that you say. I'm like, this is incredible play, and you're like, this is good play.
The play is indeed good.
The incredibleness of this play is, in fact. And how's this? Production tab, straight off the bat. Bam.
Boom.
Alright, welcome to the Play World Cup Grand Finals. We have SEGA Studios Australia versus 2K Australia 1. And down here at the bottom left is 2K Australia, team number 1. And the teal Terran is Dell, FS Dell. And his teammate as the purple Protoss, BenAD FS BenAD.
And their opponents up the top of the map, starting with the green Protoss. Playing for SEGA is Aborshern, and his partner in crime for this next set of 7 games is Disky, playing as the blue Zerg. So we are in game 1 of 7, and we are playing on Lunar Colony V.
Obligatory production tab reminder. I am on top of it this time. Yes.
Everyone's on top of your shenanigans.
Oh yeah. This is awesome. I am super psyched. So what's your prediction here? I mean, both of these teams have had some magnificent games to get here in the grand final. But I think they both have kind of similar styles. Like,
yeah,
not one team is particularly super aggressive, or both of these teams, in fact, prefer to get into the mid game. You know, the 10 to 12 minute mark is when we see the attacks most commonly.
Yeah, I don't think either of them have really done too many super early aggressive rushes through the series, so I guess we can expect to see a fair amount, like lengthwise, in the games, and I would say the two teams are pretty evenly matched. I think 2K finished higher on the ladder in the group games in those opening 5 weeks, but SEGA have played pretty solidly all through the competition, so they're by no means that far behind 2K at all.
And one thing I suppose I wanted to ask you about, because I couldn't make this match, but they took out Shiny Things in the semi-finals, which to me, I actually had Shiny Things kind of pegged as the tournament favorite. They looked incredibly strong, especially in the playoffs and quarterfinals. So
yeah.
How did that go down? How did what happened there?
I think SEGA just basically were on top of Shiny Things' strategy, where a lot of the times we saw through the competition, Shiny Things would have one player harvesting all the minerals and the other player spending them all.
Yeah.
And so I think SEGA were just sort of on top of that style of play and just managed to shut it down each time.
Nice. Okay, well...
So they just sort of had an answer to that style. So it'll all depend for SEGA on how much they've researched 2K's style of play and whether they'll be able to sort of, I suppose, handle it as swiftly as they were able to with Shiny Things.
Yeah, I mean, that's such an impressive thing as well, because that... Like, how do you practice against a style like that? You would essentially need some training partners who could do that. Like, there's really no easy way to train. So I'm sure that if I had to guess, maybe SEGA watched their opponents' games in the casts.
Probably watched our expert casting analysis of the games, and from that were able to deduce the weaknesses in their build.
It's very hard to glean a strategy when your caster is bringing up the production tab at around about the 5.5 minute mark, though.
That does make it slightly tricky, but not impossible.
Not impossible by any stretch of the imagination, but a little more difficult, shall we say. Right now we've got 2K Australia, team number 1, all walled up. Little scout here by Disky. We'll just be able to identify that wall and see the tech lab here. Do you think you'd be able to see this reactor, though? That's a real question.
If he comes up the ramp?
Yeah, I don't think he can. He can't see... Or it doesn't seem to be able to see the 2 barracks with the 2 reactors that are going up here.
No, not yet. I'd be interested in seeing if he does run that Zergling up the top of the ramp, if he does get it or not, but No. And I don't know whether it's just me. I've got like a billion clicks going off in my ear, but maybe that's just audio on my end.
A billion clicks, eh?
Yep.
I'm not hearing a billion clicks, but
all right.
I guess I should count myself fortunate.
I'll push through. I imagine
Is that
if I'm
Skype
hearing
for you? Is Skype crapping the bed?
It might even be StarCraft, because I was like double clicking on the barracks, and now it just sounds like that sound repeated forever and ever.
Oh dear.
But that's alright, it's very, very soft, so I'm sure I will live.
Maybe you can turn your sound off in your options or something? I don't know. That's a weird one. Also...
bringing up the menu, fixed it. Yes! Tech solving live.
Bam. Alright, so, now... I mean, what's the strategy here? I can see BenAD looks to want to put out a forward pylon here, so...
Yeah, he had one pylon out already, but Aborshern took care of that one, and then just then we saw Disky with those Zerglings took out another one, but the Zerglings have run straight past 2 DTs, and I do not think they saw those. There's also a third DT going up into Disky's expansion, so what kind of detection do we have on the map, if any?
I don't see a lot, to be honest. There is no...
Robotics facility is just almost finished.
There's no Evo chamber, so there won't be any spore crawlers. There's no hatch, so there won't be overseers.
Oh, yeah.
Disky cannot do a damn thing about this at the moment. He really needs to get this robo cranking out that... Where is this robo?
Up the top of the ramp, Aborshern is using his chrono boost, so that will be out very, very, very shortly in the next 1, 2, or 3 seconds.
Yeah, they desperately need this.
There we go. So now the observer's out. Probably not going to be a bad idea to grab another one as well.
Just in case.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got 2 DTs going down, but 1 DT still up in Disky's mineral line. Aborshern now moving up to take care of that. So that DT still had 16 kills, so...
Whoa!
Doing quite a bit of damage.
We switch to the unit production tab now. We see Dell with 23 SCVs and BenAD with 32, clearly in the lead at the moment. So it looks like 2K Australia is going to take the production lead at this stage of the game, which may give them an advantage in the future. But one part of SEGA's game which they've been quite good at here is safe expansions, and Disky has had this expansion up for quite some time now versus down here, which BenAD is only just getting this up and is now starting to get a little bit of pressure. I think these Zerglings aren't going to be able to do too much at this stage, but...
These Banelings, I was going to say, those Banelings could end up killing those DTs if the splash damage from the Zealots hits the DTs themselves.
Oh, a lot of Banelings wasted there, but...
So close, but
my God.
Not quite enough. But there is an observer here with the Aborshern's army, so those DTs are going to pose no threat. But that many Marines and Marauders, and the DTs probably will pose a little bit of a threat to those Stalkers.
Yeah, I think the Stalkers are going to get taken out here, but these DTs are too, and they're expensive.
Yep.
There we go. 1 DT survives, and it looks like this expansion is going to be able to go up successfully.
Yep.
So we are well and truly heading into the mid-game now. One thing, though, is that Dell is probably going to want to expand fairly soon. We're at the 10-minute mark. He does not yet have a second command center, so I think he's going to want to be able to chuck that down relatively quickly.
And just as you spoke, it is now going down at the 9 o'clock position.
Aha!
There it goes. So now it is just up to Aborshern as the last player to expand. So if he can do that soon, then that'll allow him to stay on pretty even ground with Dell.
Alright, so we've got a CC up. Now, are they going to be able to scout this, though? Looks like Disky has his Zerglings sort of slowly making their way over there, but is he going to specifically scout the 9 o'clock position? Does not look like it. Nope, he dared.
Not at this time. Alright, so Aborshern is moving down his ramp, getting some Immortal production going. So, what are the Immortals going to be killing? Because there's a ton of Marines out on the map for Dell, and Marines eat up Immortals pretty good. And not a lot of Stalkers or anything of the sort from BenAD that those Immortals are going to be able to take down really quickly. So I'm interested in the decision behind that choice.
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
Although, maybe he's called it with those Archons coming up. He may have called it perfectly.
Yeah, that will be really, really handy against these Archons. What does BenAD have to repel this at the moment? He's going to need It's going to need Dell's army well and truly
Yeah.
to get this down, but it looks like they are going to be successful in this.
Yeah, Dell's army is getting quite large. Got the upgrades starting to come through as well, with one attack completed, and then the one armor almost completed, and then the 2 attack about a quarter of the way done.
All right, let's have a look at the count of the production at the moment. What do you call that? Production tab? No, not that. The supply. That's what I'm looking for. That's the word. I actually had to scroll my mouse over to the tab and kind of like hover on it, and it goes, all living units cost supply. I'm like, that's the word I'm searching for. Right now, Dell is 96 over 110, BenAD 92 over 92, Aborshern is 59 over 68, and Disky 76 over 76. So right now, 2K Australia 1 really have a supply lead at this stage.
Yeah, they do. And then if you flick to the income tab, you can see BenAD actually, a lot of his supply, 57 of it is in probes. So that is a lot of probes, especially on 2 bases. He's probably going to want to throw down a 3rd sometime soon, just to move some of those probes away to resaturate.
I'd say so, but base. Here come the Mutalisks. Very, very good move here, picking off a few and then retreating immediately, not really suffering any losses of that, although...
No, that was really good. What did I say, 59 before? Because he's down to 51, so if that was about right, he's lost 8 probes, so very beneficial attack there with those mutas.
Yeah, and now they're heading off into the main as well, and there are no cannons there at all. There's one Archon, though, so he may be able to get some sweet, sweet splash, and, yep, force these Mutalisks to retreat now. Plenty of cannons now ringing this expansion as well, so this looks pretty safe from any muta harassment, at least for the time being. Where does Disky go from here? He's got his Spire up. Do you think he's going to kind of persist with what he's doing now, which is sort of Ling Baneling into muta, or is he going to try perhaps go up to an alternative tech path, possibly Infestors or something like that?
I don't know, he has just got the speed upgrade for the Banelings just completed, so looks like he might be planning on staying with Ling Baneling for a while. Yeah, I don't know what his long-term goal is. We don't see any upgrades yet on those mutas, but he has dropped a 3rd, so he is keen to continue that income of his and getting it up. But at the same time, Dell is moving up to that 3rd base with 3 dropships, so I think its days are going to be pretty numbered unless he scoots right past it and ends up dropping the main.
Yeah, this could be relatively scary here if this drops on this expansion right now, but I don't think he's seen it. Has he?
Although maybe he has. If he can get those mutas there
he has seen it. Oh, yeah. He's most definitely, and in fact, he's splitting this drop now, so he's going to have one in the front and one in the back of these 2 bases. Although that full medevac goes down immediately. Oh, that's a huge blow.
Yep, both medevacs going down, and the drop at the 3rd getting cleaned up just before Disky's hatchery went down. So that drop itself was handled pretty well there by SEGA, not doing too much damage at all to them. But at the same time, behind it, BenAD has expanded as well. So he's going to get a bit further in the lead economically, but Dell is still sitting on the 2 bases, as is Aborshern.
So where to from here? I think this game is going to be relatively conservative. We always see generally with the later stages of the tournament, both teams in the first game are just sort of sizing each other up. No one wants to do anything too crazy, and so we see some relatively conservative play, but it's always interesting to see like how these two feel each other out in that first game. And sometimes that can really dictate then what happens in these later matches, like is there going to be cheese in a game when you start to sort of slip, or what happens from there?
Well, it is good when there is a best of 7. It means there's plenty of opportunity to throw in a cheese game if you feel like it, without too much risk. If it goes badly for you, you can still recover for it, unlike a best of 3, where one bad game then puts you one more bad game away from losing completely. So,
wow! Now this BenAD's base is completely walled off here on this side. And just in time too, because Aborshern has come down with a force of Stalkers and Colossus. Single Colossus, 2 Immortals, I should say. Oh no, 3 Immortals. And a handful of Stalkers.
He's going to catch some dropships. Oh! That was painful. Dell losing some more dropships. And now this army is looking to be in a pretty good position. Dell's army is a little bit split, so isn't going to be able to help BenAD immediately, but once those two armies join together, then I think Aborshern's going to need to be a little bit careful with his forces.
Two more Colossus, though, enter the fight as well, and this is kind of an awkward spot for the army of 2K to enter into. Are they going to be able to target down these Colossus? They're microed back. They are doing massive, massive damage to these Marines at the moment. How are they going to come back? Or it looks like they will with superior numbers, but they took a heavy beating on that fight.
Yeah, that was in prime position for the Colossus as all the units were bunched up, so just let them do a ton of damage from the back there, but unfortunately the combined army size of 2K was just too much for Aborshern himself to handle.
And they are beating a hasty retreat now as well.
Yeah, but it looks like 2K are taking this moment on themselves. They've just killed Aborshern's army, so they've figured this time is as good as any a time to push into an assault.
Yep, and here comes the counter-attack. What is Aborshern going to do here? In-fly some Mutalisks, and there's plenty of Infestors now on the field. Can they catch them? Oh, that was a pretty good fungal. Can they get another one off?
No, all the Infestors, unfortunately, they were leading the army, so they took the first brunt of attack. So I think only one fungal went off before all sort of 5 or 6 Infestors went down. So that's really unfortunate for SEGA. And now they are not looking to be in a good position to be able to hold back the rest of this army.
No, they are desperately going to have to get some forces here to protect this, but...
Although at the same time, yeah, Disky has run a whole bunch of Lings up into BenAD's third base, but there are a lot of DTs and Zealots just warped in now, so they are going to get mopped up relatively quickly. And Dell has he dropped the third or just run up to the third of Disky's? But
I think he's just run up to it.
He has managed to take it out.
Drop ships, but yeah, he's taken that out. That goes down, and I think they're going to actually take out these forces from Aborshern here as well.
Oh wow! So that means Disky's natural is maybe not looking to be in a great position either.
Yeah, they are looking in a very sorry state at the moment. Disky not doing too bad in supply, but Aborshern way down and completely mined out. Is actually not mining at all right now. Has no
attacking
income.
with drones, that is never a good position to be in for Disky. Poor Disky's drones, trying to surround the Marines, but the Marines with 3 attack upgrades just mowed through a good number of those drones just then before finally going down. But I think this push is going to be the push that ends Game 1. There are just too many units here for SEGA to deal with.
Yeah, there's an absolute stack of units here, and down goes this expansion. That means no more mining for Disky either, and now they have basically... free range, although Broodlords, very late Broodlords coming up here. Are they going to be able to do some damage? The Vikings here from Dell are going to be able to take them out. Ooh, and there goes the GG. So just a little bit too late there.
Yep.
But I like the idea. I can see where Disky was going with that. It just happened a little bit too late.
Yep.
And
those LTs did prove to be very effective for 2K, as SEGA unfortunately just didn't have the detection needed when they needed it.
No, unfortunately they did not. And for some reason I am timed out now. How did that happen?
Well, no, Dell and BenAD are timed out. There we go.
Boom. Alright.
That concludes Game 1.
2K Australia, 1-0.
And I will start setting up Game 2 right now.
Thank you very much. Alright, if you're watching this on the stream, be sure to hit us up in the Twitch chat, or if you came here via Twitter or any of those other strange and mysterious means, hit us back and let us know if the stream is doing okay, or if it's kind of a choppy mess. Or just say hi. I always enjoy that. We are going to go into Game 2 fairly quickly here. The second match is on. Let me have a look in my little schedule.
The next map is Desolate Stronghold.
Desolate Stronghold, alright.
Right, I'll start inviting everyone. Disky has removed himself. That's no good, Disky. What are you doing?
You crazy, Disky. You're so crazy. Alright, apologies for my voice as well. I seem to have come down with the plague yet again this year. It's been a great year. I think have actually been sick more days than I've been well in 2013, which is horrific. But if I get a little eerie silence here, JS, and you're feeling, most likely I'm either coughing my lungs up or I'm blowing my nose or some other disgusting thing.
Granted.
Just to let you know.
Well, hopefully it's not contagious over the microphones.
Yeah, don't ever speak into my mic. It's poison, essentially. Hey, have you ever seen that movie Contagion?
Possibly. It sounds like an old movie that I may have seen a long time ago.
I think it's got like Matt Damon and I don't know. It's basically about a disease that like kills off like a fifth of the population of the world.
Uh-huh.
And I bring it up because earlier in the year when I was sick for like a month and a half. With just no end in sight. This massive like chest infection. And about smack bang in the middle of it, we watched Contagion, and my girlfriend had not gotten sick yet, and she was just like, we're going to have to get separate beds. Like after
fearing for her life.
That is the worst possible movie ever to watch when you're sick, because your significant other or loved ones will abandon you immediately after watching it.
Alright.
Okay.
It looks like we are in Game 2. Game 2 is up and running, and how's that production tab looking, James?
It is on and running. I'm seeing a lot of drones and probes, and a single SCV also being built. Welcome to Game 2, and let's go to the team down the bottom. On the left-hand side, as the blue Zerg, we have Disky from SEGA Studios Australia, and his teammate on the right-hand side, as the green Protoss, we have Aborshern.
And then up the top left, we have their opponents playing for 2K Australia. Team number 1, we have the... I'm going to say, well, it's purple, but it looks a little bit pink. But it's the purple Protoss, and that is BenAD. And his teammate will be Dell, who is playing as the teal Terran. So they've got the alliteration going. Great to see. And so 2K Australia took out game number 1. We are now in game number 2 on Desolate Stronghold. And this is an interesting map, as it's got one very safe expansion at the natural for one team, but then the second expansion for the next person on the team is a little bit vulnerable, so it's not always conducive to a long game.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, this one is fraught with peril for that second person, so it is almost essential that you keep your army stuck together on this one, and preferably defending that one very tricky expansion.
And it looks like Disky is already moving his Overlord into position. We've seen this play a lot on this map, actually, especially with our Protoss and Zerg teams, where Disky's Overlord is going to sit in position just in the corner there of BenAD's base. And then a little bit later on, no doubt, we'll see a probe come down from Aborshern, drop a pylon, and then there'll be a warp in on the high ground.
Yeah, so you can drop
straight into the mineral line.
Exactly. You can drop a pylon like here or like somewhere here. I know, JS, you can't see this, but the stream can.
I can. I'm watching.
And then, yeah, once that goes up, then bam, warp into the high ground. Stalkers up in your face, up in your base.
Yep.
And it's Trouble City.
Trouble City. And there's also another good place, which is actually where Disky's drone is up in 2K's base. But in that sort of section where he's doing a little dance, that's a continually just black zone if no one puts a unit or a building there. So it's another great place to do some warp-ins or building shenanigans if people aren't keeping an eye on it.
Is this drone going to die? Disky is running this thing into the ground. And, oh, yeah. He dead. Alright, so we got our initial scout out of the way. Early expansion by Disky. His is up and running. In the meantime, up top, we've got a wall in by 2K Australia. The team that can wall. Versus the team... Oh, actually, I guess Aborshern has done a pretty good job here as well.
Pretty good wall. You can then chuck a couple of zealots in that gap, and then it's a pretty decent wall.
Easy
but
peasy.
I see Dell is actually researching Marauder slow here, so we might be seeing something fairly early. So the good thing about the Marauder slow concussive shells is that it doesn't take long at all to research. So it's great for if you want to do an early push, as you can at least have one upgrade on your units before you even go out. Whereas if you try and get stem or combat shields, you know, you're waiting 2 to 3 minutes for those to finish.
Yeah, that definitely does take some time. So do you reckon, as a Terran player, that would indicate possibly some early aggression here?
Yeah, I think it could. If they push out with a bunch of units and then they've got the Marauder slow, if SEGA don't have the units to engage in the fight and they want to try and run away, the slow sort of prevents them from doing that. So, yeah, once they're hit with the slow, they're kind of stuck in the fight whether they like it or not, and it just gives a bit more of an edge to Dell's army, if that is indeed the case. But he has also thrown down a factory now, so maybe we're not going to be seeing a super early push. I'd say we might... No, I thought we might have seen a starport drop down next to that factory, and we might have been seeing early medevacs, but that's not the case at this time. So perhaps that slow was just a bit of a precautionary measure.
Yeah, it could have been just in case there were high ground warp-ins of zealots or something scary like that.
Yep.
Into the mineral line as a precautionary thing. That's definitely a possibility. At the moment, though, we're seeing... Disky almost got up into the base there, but not quite. But he has definitely spotted that there is no second expansion so far.
Yep.
And I wonder what he's making of that. Because right now, to me, at least, this looks like, from BenAD... well, we've got... Let's see, we've got 2 gateways. Yeah, we've got a robo, we've got a robotics bay... I don't actually know what he's doing here.
No, BenAD has just thrown down his expansion, so we're not seeing any sort of crazy one base all in from the 2 guys. Dell has also thrown down a command center in the middle of his base, so also going to be looking to expand. So now Aborshern is the only player at the moment at this time who has yet to throw down an expansion. Although Disky has spotted that BenAD has thrown down this expansion, so I wonder if SEGA are going to try and put on a little bit of pressure and get the cancel on that Nexus.
Well, Aborshern at the moment only has 2 gateways, but he does have warp gate research, and he also is only a few seconds away from finishing blink research as well. He is 40 seconds away from blink, and he has a pretty sizable force of stalkers here, which could definitely warp up here on the high ground with this vision from the Overlord of Disky. So I wonder if that's the strategy. Maybe not a high ground warp in, but just a blink over the top.
I think it is, and Ben has an observer that's sort of on a bit of a patrol to and from in that dark spot, but just not quite hitting the area where those stalkers are, and now they have blinked up in the main, and they're going to be able to do a fair bit of damage to these probes, I think, before any of Dell's units get back there to defend.
Yeah, BenAD and Dell really need to react here. That BenAD should pull these probes immediately and try to minimize his losses, but at the moment he's taking heavy hits.
And at the same time, Disky has run in with a bunch of Zerglings and is taking out BenAD's natural, his natural as well.
Oh, and the blink out here. Minimal losses there for Aborshern. Maximum damage on the probe line. And the expansion goes down. And now the front door is also under threat.
Yep, Zerglings getting in, but thankfully for 2K, they do have a nice wall in there, so the Zerglings not able to get in. Now going to need to run off before that Colossus melts them all to bits.
Alright, so pretty fortunate that Colossus was there. Though it did not save this expansion. And now... 2K desperately need to expand and get that second base up, or are they going to get out macroed like crazy here? Yeah,
Aborshern has dropped down his natural down in the 5 o'clock position on the map, which I don't mind that position as an expansion.
Although, no, not at all.
Especially because his stalkers have blink, so if his stalkers are sort of somewhere, even if they're in the high ground at his main, it's a quick jump to jump down and then defend his natural.
At the same time as well, we're seeing Disky put up a third on the, what would you call that, the 9 o'clocker?
Yep, that looks like 9 o'clock to me.
Cool, and so that means now they are significantly out-based here. Dell's command center is kind of just floating here at the moment. Not really sure what to do because there is a single Zergling, and as we all know, command centers cannot land if there is a single Zergling there. The laws of StarCraft physics do not mean a giant building can crush a tiny little dog, Zerg-shaped thing. Oh,
and
but is he going to be able to get this down?
But Aborshern has also, they've done the 1-2 punch again. Aborshern has blinked up into the main of BenAD and is actually going to kill every single probe there, I think, as Disky has got that natural, and now Dell's army is completely out of position, and BenAD's even throwing down the GG. He has got no probes left, or he's got a handful of probes left. No army left. Aborshern probably want to retreat with those stalkers, and that's exactly what he's done.
Yeah, I think BenAD just thinks that they're in terrible shape, and to be quite honest, he's not far wrong here. There goes another GG, and I think this is going to be all she wrote. I mean, Dell's army is really all they have at this stage.
Yeah, I think before 2K GG, I think it would be worth Dell. He's got a fair army to just... I would even take all my SCVs, to be honest.
Yeah, why not?
Just go all in and see if his army can make a difference. Although, there is a good number of roaches back at home for Disky. And along with the Aborshern Stalkers, I think it's actually going to be more than enough. Although that army of Dell's looks rather scary when it's stripped out in that single file line.
Yeah, that's a pretty impressive conga line of Marines and Marauders and a handful of medevacs, though with these roaches and stalkers, it could do pretty well if it stims right and if the angle is okay.
Yeah, they're going to need to hit at the exact same time, and here we go. This has probably gone as best as it could for SEGA, but Dell is just going to be sandwiched between two armies and has accidentally loaded up those medevacs, and that is not what you want to do.
No, he has reduced his army forces. I think he was going to try and do a quick elevator there, but there's not enough time to elevate when you are getting smushed at that rate. Unfortunately, there's the GG, and it looks like we are going to be level at 1-1 here. SEGA taking that one out.
And yeah, so now we're 1-1 and about to head into Game 3.
Okay, you set that up. In the meantime, I'm going to actually pop over to Facebook. There's a little... Hang on. There's a little StarCraft Society thingy that I just wanted to post the link in. So, if you're out there and you're listening to this and you're enjoying tonight's grand final, chuck that out on Twitter, stream... Chuck the address of the stream and say @PlayWorldCup so we know you're out there. And yeah, the more viewers we get, the better. So yeah, thanks everyone if you could do that. It would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be much appreciated. Just setting up game number 3 now. It is going to be on Tirador Keep, which is the 6-player map. So that always provides for a nice, interesting game.
Yeah, the 6-player maps are always like much bigger and more spacious.
Yep.
Which can lead to some interesting shenanigans.
Yeah, plenty of opportunities for secret hidden bases and the like.
I might just mute this loud typing if that's okay. I'll be back in just a second.
Go for it. And it looks like we're waiting on one player to join, and that player would be Dog Arms. What a jerk.
Come on, man. I'm doing types. Alright, here we go.
Hooray. And that is everyone in.
All aboard. Choo-choo.
Heosat has left the lobby.
What if? Disky says not to cast the first game. I was terrible. Awkward. You can't see this, but I'm awkwardly tugging on my collar and going, go.
And it is on. Game number 3 is kicking off as we speak.
All squared up at 1-1. So game 3, it is pretty much, you know, even Steven. No one has to do anything crazy to get back into the game. Sometimes when you've got a best of 5 or a best of 7 and you're 2 games down, you kind of start going, well, time to pull out that 2-gate and that 6-pool that we've been working on. But not the case at the moment.
And if we didn't have this 6-player map, this is probably the game, like game 3, when it's 1-1, it's a pretty safe position for everyone to be in. No pressure if you lose this game. So if I was going to cheese a game, I think this is the one I would do it. But this map just doesn't make it easy to do a nice fast cheese, because if you're doing a cheese where you need to know where the enemy base is, this map kind of ruins that plan.
That's right, yeah, there is no defined location in this particular map, so you could be down bottom, could be left, could be right, As a team, you really don't know until you scout, and by that point, you either have to commit to your cheese before you see, or you really find yourself in a position where it's too late to start up a cheese once you've discovered where the other person are.
Yep. But BenAD is moving his 9 probe out, so he's moved it in the correct direction in that he is going to scout SEGA's location first up, and it looks like that Disky's drone is heading in the right direction as well, so both players, with their 50-50 choice, going in the right direction, going to scout each other first off.
Bam! Nailed it.
Yeah, so if anyone feels like doing some cheese, a little bit of delayed cheese, the option is on the table.
It is certainly still there. We can't rule it out. Oh, a little bit of a pokey at BenAD's probe there, but gets away. At the moment, we're just seeing the players sort of suss each other out. Disky has noticed gas going up from Dell. If you are Terran and you put up a gas within, say, the first 14, what is your kind of strategy there? Is that pretty open-ended there?
Yeah, that's pretty open-ended. That just means, essentially, you're not super fast expanding, and that's about it. Yeah. The only thing you need gas if you're doing anything other than expanding or making marines.
Yeah, making mass marines or barracks.
Yeah, and marines are pretty good, don't get me wrong, but upgrades make them a ton better, and you do need that sweet gas for the upgrades.
Most definitely do. Those 3 marines are ridiculous.
Disky has thrown down his very, very safe inside expansion. So he is going no cheese for Disky. He is going pure eco at the moment. But at the moment, we don't see anything yet from 2K Australia. Neither player has claimed that in-base expansion.
Ooh, Disky's doing a little poke here. Although that drone is going to die. I thought there for a second that Dell was not going to see that in time. He let a SCV get down to about a half health, but managed to save him in the end.
Very nice.
Just faking us out. So I wonder who's going to claim this safe expansion here, and when are they going to do it?
Yeah, usually with this map, one player can expand pretty early, pretty quickly, especially when, in 2K's case, they've walled off the main. So
exactly.
Put a pretty safe expansion down, but neither player has done that at the moment. One thing I have noticed, though, for SEGA, they are not keeping a close eye on those destructible rocks. So there's one Overlord there for Disky who I think can just see the edge of it, but probably would be a little bit better for them to move that Overlord just a little bit closer in case of any shenanigans involving those rocks.
Yeah, looking at these rocks now, if I flip to SEGA Australia's view, yeah, we see the Fog of War is right here up against the rocks, so those going down will be a little bit of a surprise, whereas on the other side, there's... actually... Yeah, they're pretty similar. I don't know. I guess this Overlord is kind of covering it. Maybe it could be better, though. It could be a little bit closer to those rocks.
Yeah, just so you could... Because at the moment, the only thing that Overlord would be able to see is the health of the rocks go down, but the pylon from BenAD would probably also see the
see the text message.
I was like, what the hell is that? Yeah, would probably see the attack projectiles and all that sort of thing hitting the rock, but it doesn't look like 2K doing anything too fancy. I'm still surprised no one's taken that expansion. BenAD is getting blink, so it looks like he's pretty keen to blink somewhere up on, probably into the back of Disky's.
Simon has a bit of a theory here. He's thinking it's going to be warp drop DT style. Where is that going to come from, though? Is it going to come here from the pylon and Overlord to be warped in up here?
Yes, indeed it is, where the expansion would usually go, but where there is none. But what detection do 2K have?
I see nothing from BenAD at the moment, which is very scary. Although he is getting a forge, he's got the forge, and now if he gets a photon cannon, which he is doing, that will keep him pretty safe, I think.
Yep.
Oh, and just in time. Although, are they going to be able to take this down? They're heading straight into the mineral line. Oh, no. Oh,
doing some damage.
BenAD is going to have to react here. He's going to have to pull these probes and get them toward this photon cannon, but he's also going to have to make sure that photon cannon is protected, because if it goes down, there goes the vision.
Yeah, and at the same time, Dell's SCVs are copying and beating as well. He does have Oh, there must be a turret. Oh, the turret is up at the main. Okay, so that DT going down. Dell also does have a scan available if they need it, but there we go. The probe's getting a nice round on those Dark Templar.
Although there are more Dark Templar in the mix here, and Dell is giving up valuable mining time here by not moving those SCVs back. He's also had to blow that scan on that DT there.
Yeah, really? And there's 3 Zerglings just wailing away at this gateway at the front of the ramp, and they're going to take it down, I think.
Oh my god, you're absolutely right. 3 Zerglings.
Yeah, Dell is more concerned with all the DTs in the base, and probably rightly so, but there goes that wall off. So now if Disky decides to just stream through 1 billion Zerglings, now would be a pretty good time to do that.
And he does have 1 billion Zerglings to stream, it looks like, or maybe not a billion.
If we go to the unit counting station, we will find 1 billion Zerglings.
I don't think there's enough room for that many zeros in the unit counting station. 25, that may as well be 1 billion.
That's close enough. And it looks like Aborshern and Disky's strategy here is now over. Disky has moved his Overlord out of the way, and now Dell has spotted that troublesome pylon, and it has now been taken down. But at the same time, Disky is hitting that front base, the front wall again, with a whole bunch of Zerglings, breaking down another bunker, or a barracks, sorry, and just breaking in again. And where, oh where, are all of Dell's SCVs?
Dell's SCVs are dead.
Holy God.
Yeah, they're dead. They are dead. I didn't see them die, but they're dead. That is not good. Dell is not going to be too happy about this at all.
No.
How did they die?
They must have... I know there were DTs and Zerglings at some point, I guess.
Oh my God.
SEGA are just doing a great job at just poking on multiple angles and just catching 2K unaware. And now it looks like Dell is going to lose the rest of his force. Very, very almost.
And they are just stretching them to the limit with multitasking here. Looks like BenAD is going to be the only one, unless he can do a bit of a donation thing. Although there is a mule here, so slowly this count of SCVs is going back up. It's currently at 5 with the second mule now in. But it's going to take quite a lot to get back on his feet economically here for Dell. He's not out of this altogether now, but he really needs to find a way to be able to not only get his economy back up and running, but also to try and do some damage on the other side. Otherwise, these expansions are just going to get out of control. Disky throwing down a proxy hatch here. He's also getting his other expansion, third base, up now and running. And these Zerglings have just given 2K, given SEGA, I should say, total map control. Aborshern has also got a secret base down in the, what is it, 7 o'clock position, I guess?
Mm-hmm. And yeah, it looks like SEGA are in a pretty good position at this point in the game.
I don't think 2K have been outside of their base for quite some time, to be honest. Just haven't had the time, haven't had the, any way to make that happen for them. So SEGA is just running absolutely amok on this map.
Yep, and now these Zerglings are going to start taking down those rocks, but there are enough Stalkers on the high ground to push them away. So that will be the end of that attack for now, but it's just another thing now that 2K are going to have to keep their eyes on. Those Zerglings still got those rocks down to, about sort of 75% health. So if they just keep tapping it every once in a while, those rocks will eventually fall down, and that is probably not going to be great news for 2K.
That's going to be very, very bad. That's the widest ramp in the history of ramps.
Yep, and now with Stalkers attacking those rocks, there is nothing to do. Those rocks are coming down. It is all a matter of time, and now 2K are just going to have to prepare for the incoming onslaught, although, to be fair, the incoming onslaught isn't that onslaughty.
Yeah, it's only moderately onslaughty, but it will keep these guys distracted, and it will also... I mean, Disky is well aware that they still haven't expanded here. He's got this Overlord sitting here at where their next expansion would logically go. He doesn't see that, and so he knows that eventually it's just going to be attrition here. They might just be able to wear them out.
Yeah, SEGA doesn't need to run up that ramp. I hope they don't run up there, because they don't need to. They're in a really strong position. And yeah, they will be able to just win by war of attrition. So I would probably wait till your army's looking a little bit healthier, although Disky has now got the Mutalists out on the map, and so I would say they'll be doing their good old 1-2 trick where...
Oh, Aborshern has just run through the front door. There was a gap in that wall. I can't believe it. I didn't even spot that myself, but straight into the line of Dell. Dell must be spitting chips at this moment and getting his mineral line attacked yet again, but they do manage to clean that up. But it now looks like they're going to swing forward after splitting that force left and right. It looks like SEGA is going up this wide ramp.
managed to get Ben back to his base, got Dell back to his base, and now SEGA have run up that ramp, and that was a perfect time to do so. Army is all out of position, and this is not going to be great for 2K. I don't know whether they're going to be able to deal with this. They might be able to withhold this one attack, but I think as each attack wave comes through, it's just going to hurt them more and more. Yeah,
it looks like BenAD's forces are slowly going down, as are Aborshern's, but after this, it looks like 2K's army is basically Cactus, and SEGA is getting more and more units, and in fact,
Dell's got more charge slots in the front, and there we go. Dell has thrown down the GG. He'd lost his whole army and his whole SCV line again, and there we go. GG. SEGA take out game number 2.
Booyah! So 2 SEGA, 1 2K Australia at the moment. Well played, SEGA. They just made them multitask like a son of a bitch, and it worked.
2K never got to leave their base. They were just permanently kept there by SEGA's harassment. So SEGA did a great job of controlling that game.
Absolutely. And well done to them. 2-1. And now we head into game number 4.
Yeah, so still anyone's game at this point. It's still not pressure zone. I wonder if you're SEGA at this point, so if you win the next game, that means you're one game away from winning the whole thing.
Yeah.
Do you throw down a cheese this game and try and go for an easy win, and just put the real pressure on 2K next game if you do get that win up?
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I mean,
because if you were 2K, I think doing a cheese at this point is probably a little bit too risky.
Yeah.
But for SEGA, if it paid off, it would work out really, really well for them.
It could do. Are you going to have to take off sometime during this match?
I think I'll make it through the end of this match.
Okay.
You know, obviously it all depends how long it is, but my time left on this stream is very limited.
Well, I might see. Is Matt Dolby from our reading room team was on Skype. I don't know if he still is. I might see if I can get him, but I may not be able to.
Bring him in.
If you're out there and you want to jump in on the stream and do a little bit of dual commentary with me, please jump in the Twitch channel and just chat away, and we might be able to get you up on Skype and onto the stream. If you know your StarCraft and you're enjoying this, you know, jump on in.
Yeah, and you don't need to be an expert caster. You don't need to quite be of the quality of James and I.
That's a very low bar. That's a low bar.
Yeah, we have set it very low, so do not be afraid to step forward. And just waiting. Oh no, wait. Are you in? Yeah, you're in.
I'm in. Just before we kick off, I might just go to the chat and see if anyone in there who's a spectator at the moment. We've got quite a few. We've got a few Fireman spectators. We've got some other people from 2K. I'll just quickly drop a little thing in and see if anyone wants to chat. I'm just saying I don't want to be Garthed. Simon from Fireman says no mic and he hates the sound of his voice. Well, I hate the sound of my voice too. The trick is never to listen or watch back to anything that you ever do.
Nope, I have not watched one of our casts on YouTube.
And that is the key to never improving as well. Incidentally.
Disky has said it's nearly his bedtime, so he will want to be wrapping this up pretty quickly. So we might be in for some fun, furious, fast-paced games. Game 4 is a go-go.
All right, let's do this thing. Game number 4. Let's see what happens in this one.
So yeah, SEGA up at this point, 2-1. This map is actually a great map for SEGA to do some shenanigans, because once again, it's actually a terrible map if you want to expand on.
Yeah, it has that characteristic of the nearest expansion point being basically completely open. Not only do the expansions have massive wide ramps, but they also have this upper kind of ring where you can come from the left, you can come from the right, and it's incredibly difficult to get something up that's secure.
Yep, and only if you were going to be doing a cheese. The spawn locations have worked out perfectly for SEGA, as they are in close positions, don't even need to go through the middle of the map. You can just skirt around that inner ring and then you're straight into your opponent's base. So regardless of who wins this game, I don't expect this game to be a long one, just because of the map type, where it's not very friendly for expansions and they are so close to each other. Like, if either one of these teams wants to try and take that gold base, because it's essentially almost as close as the natural in the middle, that then puts their armies that much closer. So yeah, I'm expecting a quick, brutal game this time round.
Yeah, and in these quick, brutal games, it always comes down to the strategy of how you're going to manage that quick brutality. Are you going to go for something like, if I was Disky at this point, I'm definitely thinking a Baneling Bust or some kind of mass Speedling approach to this, and pair that up with his Protoss partner, Aborshern. You could definitely do like some Stalkers from his point of view and have that kind of larger, heavier unit, and then dart back and forward with the quick terror.
Yeah, and this map also, if they wanted to do the same sort of thing where you've got an Overlord giving the high ground vision, once again, that will be possible for Stalkers to blink up into the main. There's a great position just where Disky's Overlord is now, if that was the plan that you wanted to adopt. But at this stage in the game, very early to tell, not sure what anyone is planning just yet. Disky has thrown down his spawning pool. It's sort of... Oh, there's his expansion. I was going to say, where's the rest of his money gone into? Disky has expanded up at the top gold base, and that could be actually a really great expansion. It's so out of the way, and it's going to have such a great return if it can get up and running. So
absolutely,
that could be a very good move there by Disky.
And now their whole focus is going to be trying to distract 2K enough that they don't have the time or inclination to get up there and see this base. Yeah, as soon as they see that base, they are going to go hell for leather with attacking.
Yep. Oh, okay, interesting. So, interesting. So Aborshern has got a forge at the front, has thrown down a photon cannon to be protecting that ramp. Oh god. He had a Nexus up at that gold, but he has changed his mind and is expanding down below. So everything I said at the start seems to be a complete lie. SEGA are not keen to do anything overly aggressive this game. Both have expanded, and if 2K feel like doing something overly aggressive, that might now work in their favor.
BenAD being very protective here. He's got a drone, a probe I should say, that's scouting around the edges, trying to find if there's any sneaky pylons. He's been a victim of warp-in harassment for the last couple of games. He really wants to get these potential threats out of his way, but little does he know that there are two bases currently going up, and if they wanted to strike, now is the time.
Yeah, definitely. So BenAD's probe has spotted Disky's Overlord, so he at least knows it's there. Not a whole lot he can really do about it at the moment, but at least he knows it's there, something to keep an eye on.
Well, BenAD has just thrown down 3 more gateways, and is chrono boosting out his warp gate research, so this may be a 4-gate situation.
The old-fashioned 4-gate.
That is right. I will just switch to busy here. I'm getting notifications popping up. You don't want that, stream viewers.
What a fool.
Oh, and Simon has lagged us. How dare he.
So it's going to be a bit of a tech 4-gate. I don't think you usually go double gases with a 4-gate, although maybe you do. I'm not really a Protoss dude.
It's so great that we have such a high level of knowledge and strategy with this game. We don't even know how a fucking 4-gate works.
It's like the most basic build in StarCraft.
Yeah.
It has been around since like day one.
Exactly.
And I'm still not quite on top of it.
Nah, me neither, to be honest. If I see gateways, I just know that's bad.
Yep.
But this could actually be... here it comes. There's 2 pylons now being thrown down, and in fact they're incredibly close to this base. I wonder if there's going to be a probe transfer here. Will they spot that probe?
Yeah, I think... Dell's got a pretty decent sized army coming. BenAD's 4-gate is going to be probably another He's warping in another round of Zealots right now, and I would say he will probably get time to do one more warp in by the time Dell's army gets here, and then if they walk up that ramp, I think they're almost going to have enough to deal with those 2 photon cannons and the handful of units that are there.
3rd photon cannon now going up, so if they want to attack, now is the time. They need to get in there before that 3rd one finishes, because once that does, that could almost be enough to be able to drive this back.
Yeah, Disky has got it is only 2 Banelings, but if those Banelings connect with that big wall of Marines that Dell has, that will put a very large dent in that attack. Oh no, and Disky has run down that ramp at the worst time, and so now the pressure is going to be on Aborshern and his pylons.
Oh, and that pylon goes down, and down goes the 2 cannons. The 3rd one is just up now, but down goes the other pylon, and down goes the cannon as well. There is all kinds of pressure happening at the front of this base here, and now Aborshern has no anything to build anything. He has Zealots, I think, on his way. He's warping into Warp Gate research now, but that is not good timing either.
Yeah, 2 gateways. There are a lot of Banelings trying to get morphed in there by Disky, enough to clean out those 2 Marines, but yeah, I think 2K have done the right thing this game in going with the early aggression. And I think they are punishing SEGA for SEGA trying to be maybe a little bit greedy and going for the early expansions and not really getting many units to defend.
Yeah, some spine crawlers now being thrown down by Disky, the last ditch of a desperate Zerg. But I know many a time I've done this, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough. They can be taken down in just a few shots before they ever finish. So looks like Disky, if not outright dead, going to be in a lot of trouble here. Aborshern still actually in pretty decent shape, and in fact, with his base down in the expansion, he's got a lot of cannons going up, so he may live on from this. Though, I don't know about Disky. His other base up top is not very protected at all, and all it will take is a simple scout, and that will be revealed. And in fact, once this lair goes down, then, or if it indeed does go down, then BenAD is going to realize there's a second base in play, and he's going to go looking for that with a vengeance.
Yeah, but Disky doesn't have all of his infrastructure is back in his main. Well, what's left of it anyway, as the spawning pool has been taken care of, and it looks like the rest of his buildings are going to be going down.
Yeah, pretty hard to make Banelings when you can't make Zerglings in the first place.
Yeah, it is a little bit tricky. I was going to say Aborshern is holding onto his main. He's doing alright, but as more and more units stream in from 2K, I think that whole top section of SEGA's base is going to go down.
Oh, and speak of the devil, Dell has found that gold expansion, and that has almost immediately thrown up the GG. Once the game was up there, then that is pretty much it. And there goes the victory to 2K Australia, so we are now at 2-all.
Heading into Game 5, why did this series have to be so close, and why do I have to leave?
That's alright, we might actually be able to do a little transfer over here.
Is Matt around?
I think Matt was on.
Yeah, he is online actually.
Yeah, let me just jump in and get him up on the phone here. Let's get him in on the group call.
Hey, how you doing?
Hello, pretty good, man. How are you?
I'm good.
That's good. Could I bother you to get on the stream?
There's a stream?
We are streaming at the moment at twitch.tv/PlayWellCup, and JS is just about to take off, so could I get you to come in and take over his casting duties with me?
Sure, of course.
Fantastic. Alright, I'll jump back on with him, but I'll call you back in about 5.
Yep, sure, man.
Awesome. Cheers.
Good.
See you soon. Alright, looks like Matt is good to go.
Sweet.
Boom!
I shall set up this game, but it will be the last game I set up, so you'll just need to make sure you've got your expansion level set to Wings of Liberty for the next game or two.
Absolutely, I'll do that right now. I've been spending my time on the US server lately, actually.
Oh, really?
Playing unranked games, because I wanted to try and work out how the fuck swarm hosts work.
They are a pain in the ass.
I know, they're great. I love them. I gotta say. 6 or 7 of them, and it is so hard to do anything. You're just constant pressure.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Love it.
Basically, when I've seen it, I'm like, that's it. I'll just take my army and basically I just doom drop. Like, I take everything with me and go into the Zerg's base.
Yeah.
Because the only downside for you for those swarm hosts is that you're super immobile with them. So, like, then you're like, oh god, everything is in my base now. What do I do?
Yeah, and for me, the solution has been build 10 spine crawlers back at home and continue aggression.
Nice.
All right.
Just
so
setting
you're going to tee this one up?
Yep.
Cool.
Everyone's in. Well, all the players are in. All the extras coming on board now.
All right, we got one. We got. Let me see if I can pronounce this right. Zomgroffelol in the chat. He is a 2K fan. He's saying for the win, and certainly the last game they did for the win.
That is just classic Zomgroffel lol, isn't it? Just going for 2K. That is classic him.
That guy. That damn guy.
Have I invited Matt? Yes, I have. He is just pending. And yeah.
That's
once Matt comes in, we will be ready to kick off game number 5. Matt is in. And I wonder, I might even just leave the casting up to you guys from the get-go, I think, because I'm going to have to bounce in like a handful of minutes. So
sure.
Rather than leave mid-cast, I'll just biz-ounce now.
No worries, man. Well, thanks for joining us. Always a pleasure. And we'll hear from you on the cast. We still have a few catch-up casts from the semis to do after our disastrous run of casting on the weekend.
Yeah, we didn't do great.
Well, you know, I blame technology, frankly. And some kind of strange Windows 8 file which ate my entire hard drive.
Yeah, that wasn't ideal.
No. I looked into that further on, and apparently it's quite common. So that's annoying. But whatevs.
Alright, it looks like everyone is pretty much ready. I'm going to take that as a yes. We are kicking off game 5.
Alright, we are at 2-all, so scores are level.
And I will tap out and let you and Matt tap in.
Alright, man. Thanks for joining us.
No worries.
I'll catch you later.
See ya.
Hello.
Matt, how are you, man?
I'm great. How you doing?
Awesome, very good. By some strange and bizarre set of circumstances, managed to actually get the stream working from my house.
Wow.
ADSL, man, it's the future.
How many carrier pigeons are you using? I saw that you were actually streaming at 800p plus. You were 800p, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, but I set a bitrate somewhere within XSplit, which is a program we use, to max out at around 450 kilobits per second. So I guess that translates into 800p something. I don't know how that works. I can't say I'm a live streaming expert, as my ADSL is rigged up with a series of tin cans, but apparently that is good enough now to support at least a medium quality stream.
Wow, that's pretty good. It was pretty good. I saw the end of the stream. I just got home from work, so well timed.
Oh, no worries. Well, thanks for joining us.
No problem.
And right now we have game number 5. And down the bottom on the left-hand side is the red Protoss. We have BenAD FS BenAD and his partner in crime, FS Dell, as the orange Terran. Now, do you know how this goes?
Yeah, in the top right, we've got the green Protoss of SEGA Aborshern, or Sean, as I'm going to call him for the rest of the cast. And in the top middle, we have SEGA's Mike. I'm going to call him Mike, but he's Disky as Mike.
Nice, masterfully done. And
everybody's getting some scouts out at the moment and building stuff.
Yep, nothing too much happens. This is normally the point at which we kind of drift off into other random chat.
So how have the games been? How have the games been so far?
So far, so good. We've had a couple of games where there's been, I wouldn't classify it as cheese, but it's sort of like multitasking to the limit. Multi-pronged attacks by SEGA. Absolutely pushing 2K Australia around. Doing very, very well with them, with things like warping under the high ground, using that Overlord for vision, and also a bit of DT aggression. Ooh, though we saw Aborshern just take out the probe of BenAD there.
Yeah, both of these teams are very, very good at early aggression. And I'm really hoping that Sean's been doing some of his mass immortal that he did against it was Shiny Things in the semi-final, wasn't it? Because that was actually a really good little build, that one.
Yeah, well, that is the one I have not seen. So, you were there at that game?
Yep.
Excellent. And because, to be honest, I thought Shiny Things was going to be in the grand final. I really thought from their play in the, the original matches, they seemed like the team to beat for me. But yeah, SEGA managed to unseat them. Full credit to
Shiny.
them.
We were talking to Shiny Things, and apparently they had a better win-to-loss ratio than 2K, who were my favourites to go through, even though I was in the same bracket as them. But yeah, Sean, like they did this like mass immortal build. It was amazing. It just destroyed. It was really, really good.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So I'm surprised that you guys haven't seen it. And I was playing for Reading Room, and we lost to 2K, who just, those guys are so good at early aggression. Like really multi-pronged. Really, really hard to deal with. So
yeah, well, they got out multi-pronged in an earlier game, but in the last game we saw SEGA try to take some very early bases. In particular, we saw Disky go up to the gold.
Yeah, he likes that.
Yeah, he loves that. Try to pull up the sneaky gold. And to be honest, he did for about the first 8 or so minutes, and then 2K had a bit of a 4-gate / Terran, Marine Marauder build and just knocked down their front door, and eventually, with the streaming in reinforcements, managed to crack them.
All right. Well, I think we're going to see a DT warp in from a scan down the bottom. I'm just going to ping. We're going to see a pylon go down by Ben, and we're going to see a DT warp in into Sean's base.
But is he going to be able to see that? I think you can see that. With that pylon there, he is well aware of what's going on here.
Wow, shut down. Is he going to cancel the Dark Shrine? Have you got the production tab up, James?
I do. It is my Achilles heel of casting, where I do not hit the production tab, but I've been very, very good this live stream, and the production tab has been up almost instantaneously.
I did message you on Skype earlier about it, so that's good.
I did.
And there's Jace signing out. If you're watching the stream, Jace signs out.
Yeah, good work to JS.
Sure.
He's been a credit to his team. Well played by him on the casting mics.
So he's still going for that Dark Shrine, even though the forward pylon's been shut down.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what he's going to do with that now. It is not being cancelled. It is definitely going up, and in fact, there is it's completely scouted, so he's well aware of that, and then I would expect now some detection. I got a Forge and a Robo both coming up from Aborshern, and let's see, we got an Evo Chamber here from Disky. He can definitely just throw down a Spore Crawler or two if need be. I would imagine he's probably just going to hold off until he gets a lair and then get some Overseers, and he should be sweet.
Yeah, he could just use the DTs defensively at this point.
Yeah, I think that's probably all that the DTs could manage at this stage, quite honestly. And looks like that's actually going to happen. He's going to be able to defend this small Zergling attack on his expansion. Not a problem there. We're also seeing Blink just about to finish for Aborshern as well, and he has been loving the Blink lately.
Yeah, he and Ben are both very heavy Blink Stalker users, I have to say.
And they're quite good at the micro as well, blinking back, getting the most out of those Stalkers when the health is low, just drawing them back. I've seen a lot of battles where seemingly what I thought was going to swing one way completely turn around and go in Aborshern's favour with his micro. Oh, but he does get caught there. He loses a couple of Blink Stalkers there.
He wants to keep that Observer with the army. The Observer's running away.
No, that's just going to chill there for now, but it is no good there when there are DTs on the field. Oh, here we go. He's trying to kind of do a bit of a pincer here on both sides, but does not have the strength in either pincer to kind of seal the deal here.
Alright, our friendly Observer's come back, thankfully.
Yeah, that is going to be pretty crucial with this army, I think, especially if these DTs persist. I got a question for you about DTs. Why are their portraits different when you select two of them? You notice that? Yeah, I've got one that has like, the double scythe in its like little unit portrait, and then the other doesn't.
Maybe that's just a tie-over from Zero Tool. You know, like one is pretending to be, one is cosplaying as Zero Tool, and the other one is just a normal DT who doesn't believe in that kind of thing. I don't know.
That is weird. I never noticed that until now. Huh. Oh, there you go. A little bit of StarCraft trivia.
That's awesome. The things we learn on casts.
Exactly. Yeah, you learn all sorts of stuff. You learn the prevalence of the little critter, the something Tron 2000. That little guy that. Yeah, you know, he's like a little robot that kind of bumbles around the map. I see him from time to time.
Yeah, the tasteless and Artosis bot.
Yeah. Oh!
Get in.
There we go. The blink goes up. Aborshern in the base, getting all up in the grill. Also targeting down the mules, which is a smart option to stop them from mining quite as much as what they would normally. What is going to be the reaction here? A quick blink out, and I think that's all that's going to happen here. Although this DT is going to go down.
And he did lose his observer too. So he needs to get out before the DTs kind of walk up behind him and, you know, tickle him to death, really.
Yeah. Sickle or poke, depending on the portrait.
You know, I was watching a little bit of StarCraft 1 the other day, and Zealots look so much meaner in StarCraft 1. They kind of just poke things in the face until they die. And Zealots in StarCraft 2, they kind of like... It look like they're like going out to a bit of a rave party with their neon glow sticks, you know, like...
Yeah, they sort of do, like, kind of swinging uppercuts. You know what I mean? Like, the old Super Nintendo game, Super Punch-Out. You just see these, like, massive sort of swinging uppercuts. That's what I picture.
The StarCraft 1 ones were like something out of Mortal Kombat, you know, like, just stab, 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 in a straight line. It's awesome.
Dead, 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 get you dead.
So Dell's going for a cheeky third. Don't think anybody on SEGA knows about that one yet.
No, and I think their army is in a pretty good position to be able to defend if need be. Though there's a lot of lings coming down now. Disky has quite a few speedlings and also roaches.
And they don't really want to engage while their armies are split either. That's one thing that 2K were really, really good at in the two games we played against them. Sorry, the two series we played against them. They're really good at keeping their armies together.
Yeah,
although blink in the top right too.
Yeah, this is going to take down the Dark Shrine as well. So no more DTs for BenAD. But they need to be able to respond to this quickly. And this army is moving up, but there's a whole bunch of crap in the way to get there, and they may do quite a bit of damage here. There's a few pylons going down. These two gateways are now unpowered.
He's going to blink in. Oh, that's going to be bad. While all this has been going on, Ben's managed to get a little warp prism as well. I don't know if you managed to spot that, but he could be right for DT drop as well.
There it is. Yeah, I can see that. What is he going to do with it?
In Heart of the Storm now, you can click on the unit portrait, and it jumps straight to the unit.
I know, it's fantastic. It's a caster's dream.
And the other thing that's
really cool.
Casting is, I don't know if you've seen Game Heart yet.
I don't think so, no.
The new maps they're using for GSL, basically the players can't see anything, but the observers can see all sorts of cool, like, what buildings are building what units and what. It's really amazing.
That is awesome.
So hopefully we'll see that. There's 11 Dark Templars out at the moment.
I know, this ball is just a massive ball of cloakedness. Do they have upgrades? They've got a +1 weapons.
+1 warp blades.
And I'm going to have a look at the supply here, because it looks like to me Disky 105 over 132, Dell 116 over 129, and BenAD 99 over 124. Aborshern 76 over 76, so slight supply lead here by 2K Australia at the moment. I would give it
and
to
an
them.
Upgrade lead too. There's Dell's on 1-1 and Ben is on 1-0-0, but effectively +1 attack. So.
All right, we're seeing a few upgrades just finishing now from Disky. He needs to keep these roaches alive because they're going to become much, much better in about 30 seconds, but I don't think they are. I think they're all going to die.
Oh. Well, this would be a good time to actually poke while the armies are split, but as we see Ben come up, so he's going to cover that.
Yeah,
and you're watching those roaches die, you know.
All those roaches dead, and just in time to see the +1 missile attacks finish, and the speed, and the burrow. So quite unfortunate there, and he's going to have to try and rebuild these roaches as quickly as he can.
Yeah. He's going to use that warp prism as a forward pylon, which is really nice.
That's a great tactic here. He needs to be able to get up into this high ground. He's got high ground vision with this observer, but that just goes down, and now that's going to be actually... Oh, the medevac comes in.
Medevac's giving.
And the prism comes in as well. The prism goes down, though. Alright, what are we going to see here? In comes the stim. Disky is going to be pushed to his limit here. He just does not have very much to defend this at the moment.
And being Zerg, you really can't go down to one base without being in really, really dire straits. He needs to keep that base alive.
And he might just be able to do that with these roaches, although if they focus their armies together, those roaches are going to die. Oh dear, and down goes that base. That means his economy is going to be in a real bad shape for the foreseeable future. Blinking in here, Aborshern's trying to stem the damage, but there are so many DTs still on the field.
A lot of red Marines. A lot of red and orange Marines and Marines. I think they'll hold off the Terran, but there's a lot of Protoss stuff there.
Yeah, there's an absolute stack, and even if they don't, they are going to be behind economically until Disky can get his base back up. And we've got a drop now from Dell. He has actually taken out the Roach Warren, so no more roaches for Disky, which is going to be really tough now. All he's going to be able to build is Zerglings.
And you know, the 2K guys know that they can just pull back at this point. They've crippled Mike. They've done a lot of damage. They're up bases. They're up upgrades, and there's another 8 DTs sat at home now as the army falls back. So all they're going to do now is keep our SEGA friends from expanding, and they can just wait until they mine themselves out.
Yeah, do you think they could have gone in and won this whole thing, or do you think that would have overextended them a little bit too far?
I think they could have... pardon me. I think they could have, easily just continued on.
Yeah,
I think it's...
Even if they didn't do that, they possibly could have taken out Aborshern's expansion. This exposed nexus here was definitely something I thought they were going to go in and do, but apparently not. They're just content to expand for now, which is okay. Aborshern, though, has actually seen this coming, and so he's got his stalkers up and has forced the cancel on that expansion. But here comes that big army back again with a vengeance.
Yeah, they've just got to keep... They've got to keep SEGA from expanding at this point. So you've got Mike expanding in the very top middly kind of left. What would you call that?
I would call that the 11:30 position. 11:30
position? So that like beer o'clock kind of position.
Yeah, exactly. That is the close to the witching hour.
So if you watch the mini-map, you'll see that we've got Sean heading down to the bottom right to try and hit Dell's bottom base, and both armies are now swinging back down to try and defend that as well.
Yeah, the Planetary Fortress, normally scary, but with this amount of Blink Stalkers, it is going to go down incredibly quickly, and now these SCVs are also going to get taken down with them. So I think SEGA doing everything they can right at the moment, but are they going to be able to delay and kind of stall and take 2K's attention away from crushing them long enough to be able to re-establish?
Well, that's a really interesting question. We're seeing a big stim in from Dell. That's going
to be tough. All those Stalkers definitely going to go down, and now this second base, or this third base I should say, is also going down too. The remainder of those Stalkers also being taken out by now BenAD's massive amount of Archons. He seems like he's had quite enough of just using DTs, although I still see a ton of DTs. Still got 12 DTs and 8 Archons now.
8 Archons. So he would have had another 16 DTs before.
Good lord. That is quite impressive.
That's yeah. It's almost like a cloak of cloaking or something.
And now Aborshern is going to do a probe transfer, but to where? I'm not exactly sure. Where the hell are these things going?
I don't know.
I mean, he's pretty much almost saturated at the Nexus. I guess he could have a few more workers on this Nexus that is mining currently, but where is he going here? Is he going to try and take this far corner top left expansion? Because there is creep all over that at the moment, and that means he's going to delay his mining time even longer.
Wow.
Surely he's not going to try and long mine from there. That would be not great.
I think you'd need a few more probes to get optimal mining from that base.
About 130.
100.
Yeah.
And that is a seriously scary army that the 2K lads have got rolling around at the moment.
Definitely. I quite honestly think they could just go up the middle anytime they want to and absolutely smush face.
Yeah, they're both almost maxed.
Though we do have one of the saving graces of Disky at the moment. He's got 9 infestors. If he can do some really, really great fungals, and then they can stim in, or actually not stim, I shouldn't say. I should say hit with these Colossus, perhaps. If they can get something happening here, it's going to come from these infestors. But at the moment, actually, this is not too bad at all. He's getting a lot of hits on this with not having any high ground vision. Here come the infestors. Oh man, these fungals actually doing quite a bit of damage.
It's gonna chain it again!
Oh, there's another chain. There's a lot of DTs still though, and there's a few overseers here. But there are still so many Archons. What the hell are you going to do about these Archons?
Make ghosts, I think.
Yeah, I think Aborshern is out here. Oh, this massive stim army just taking out that expansion. I think they know this is all but over. Wow, great game, but that army just they went from scary to crazy scary. And that's all she wrote. So 3-2 to 2K Australia.
So that means they need to win one more game.
Exactly. They are within one of winning the entire tournament. SEGA need to win this next game to stay in it.
Can they do it? Can they come back? What's the next map, James?
Alright, let's take a squiz. I've got about 15 windows open here, so we'll just mosey on through and try and find the right one. Alright, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 6th map is the Boneyard.
The Boneyard.
So we are heading off into the Boneyard.
The only problem with these 2v2 maps is that their names often have nothing to do with how they look or play. And so once I see the photo, I'll go, it's that one.
The Boneyard is the one where if both bases scout kind of crossways, it looks like like a skull and crossbones.
Okay.
That's the only way I can describe it.
Is that the one with the base hidden at the back?
No. I think that is the one. We will see very shortly. But, no, I think you're right. Okay, let's get all of our people in here.
There we go.
Okay. And we'll make sure that our teams are actually our teams.
Yes.
Unless you want to play on behalf of 2K.
I'm sure the SEGA guys would love that.
Oh, yeah, sure.
2K maybe not so much. So we've got... This map has those well, it doesn't have hidden expansions, but it has those expansions at the back, and there is easy access into one of the base for a Reaper attack, like earlier Reapers.
I don't think we've seen Reapers in this set so far, so that would be a new one, I think, but certainly a possibility.
I think having played 2K on this map a couple times, I think they're very likely just to go really, really gateway bio heavy and hit at about 8 minutes.
Yep.
That's really what you're pretty much going to expect. And it's really hard to hold.
Yeah, I think you're right there. And unless you kind of see it coming in advance, you can find yourself caught very flat-footed, and there's not a lot you can do.
Well, even if you see it coming, it's still very difficult to hold. So it'll be really interesting to see what Mike and Sean do.
Okay, well, I think we're all set to go. Let's just make sure we're all ready, and then we'll kick this one off. Game number 6.
I love how all you can hear from both of us at the moment is the rapid typing on mechanical keyboards.
Yeah, that's right. It's the bane of every spectator, but it's the joy and the satisfaction of clicking a loud key for every caster.
Well, I went for the brown switches, which are supposed to be quiet.
It's
a complete lie, absolute lie.
What keyboard do you have out of interest?
I've got a Philco Majest Touch 2 with Cherry Browns.
I have a Philco Majest Touch 2 with Cherry Blues.
God, those things are so loud.
Though I have the 10 keyless variety.
Little
shorty.
I could never, just couldn't do it.
With no number pad.
Yeah.
See, I come from, I guess, more of a Mac background, so I have long used aluminium keyboard, the wireless Apple aluminium keyboard, and this is the PC equivalent, I consider, of that.
Okay.
I really, really love this keyboard.
We're being told to go by the players. I think everybody's ready, man.
Alright, let's do this thing.
Can SEGA pull a game back and go to the last game? Are we calling it the ace match or the rubber match? What are we going to call Game 7?
The decider?
Alright, the decider.
How's that?
I like that. That's dramatic.
Boom. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, you need some dramatic, like, Inception-style music. Maybe I can jump into Spotify and, like, fire up something Inception-y for that last one. The
Tron soundtrack or something. Nice and brooding.
Actually, I wonder if that would go to the stream, because I know the Skype is currently getting piped into the stream, but, ooh, production tab activated. Yeah, I wonder if I could get the, that happening in the stream. I'm not too sure.
Can you do it without being sued by APRA? That's the real question.
Yeah, that is, I may have to do, like, a interpretation of it. You know, like, change it 10%.
Oh, dear.
I need, like, a modulator or something. Some kind of, like, a pedal that can just warp it just a little bit.
I'm sure I've got one here somewhere.
Alright. Well, you can do that bit, and, actually, maybe I'll just go on YouTube and find, like, a, you know, a remix there. That counts, right?
Always.
By the way, speaking of remixes, we've got this Daft Punk album coming out in a couple of days' time. Have you had a chance to look at this little teaser single that they've put on?
No, I haven't. I'm waiting for the album to come out. I don't want to spoil it. It's, you know, I want to be surprised. I want to come home and I especially don't come home with a CD anymore. You buy it on iTunes, and wait for it to download, and it'll download out of order, and I'll probably play the third track first. And yeah.
Still though, you want to go in completely unawares. That makes
sense.
Yeah,
absolutely. A bit like this game, really.
Yeah.
You know, coming in, absolutely no idea what's going on.
Actually, speaking of games, I should introduce the teams here. Down the bottom on the left-hand side, we have 2K Australia, BenAD as the purple Protoss, and his teammate FS Dell as the orange Terran.
And in the top left, we have a lovely yellow Zerg who's currently attacking Ben's probe of Mike, Disky, SEGA Mike. I used to work with these guys, so. And in the top middle section, we have the Protoss. We're going to call Sean, SEGA Oz, Aborshern. Aborshern. I call him Sean. It's far easier.
Aborshern? Was that where the name came from?
I don't know. I haven't had a chance to ask Sean about that one.
Those are the two names that caused us much amusement when we started Season 3. The first was Aborshern, and the second was Coolbum.
Coolbum, that's such a great name.
It is.
That's a brilliant name.
It really is. And it's almost the most Aussie name, and at the same time, it was the guy who lives in Texas.
Yeah. He was playing at 4 in the morning or something completely ridiculous.
So amazing. I cannot believe his dedication to this tournament, but that was from Ronin Film. Coolbum, aka Chuck. If you're watching this, and I have no idea why you would be, because it would be a ridiculous time of the morning to watch it, but we really appreciate you playing.
Yeah, that was awesome. Such effort. Now, an interesting thing to note at the moment is that Mike hasn't expanded. So Disky hasn't expanded yet. He's going for an early Roach Warren. It's probably going to be something similar to a 7 Roach Rush. At this point, usually a Zerg would have taken the second base at the back. So they're really expecting some super heavy aggression.
Definitely, and considering this base is completely safe, there is like 0 chance, unless your front wall is broken down, that that's going to be under attack. Then that is very unusual, and perhaps this is part of the head games of Sean. He's going, they know, you know, they know I'm a Zerg, they know I'm going to expand, so I'm going to do the opposite.
Maybe.
But Dell and BenAD not expanding to that back either.
No, I don't think they'll be taking that base till sometime after their first attack.
Yep, I think you're right there. And sending out a Zealot, BenAD is just a little bit scouting the towers. At the moment, there isn't too much, but these Roaches are now out. There are 6 at the moment, another one on the way. So 7 total, as you predicted, Matt.
They're going to do the 7 Roach Rush, oh dear.
So what the real question is, what is Aborshern going to do to counter this? So Mike is the Zerg, Sean is the Protoss.
Well,
what are they going to do to complement this?
Outside of in the low ground, the pylon just gone down from Ben. So there's going to be a 4-gate. 4-gate? Yeah, there's going to be a 4-gate coming back the other way if they live long enough to do it.
Yeah, well, I think he's warping now a couple of Stalkers to be able to hold this out in the front. Whether he's going to be able to do that, I'm not sure, because down goes the wall. The SCV's desperately trying to keep this tech lab up, and I think they actually will, although there's going to be quite a few losses here.
And there's a Zealot. There's a Zealot into Sean's base at the moment. You're focusing on the action, but there's a Zealot going in and trying to kill some SCVs, and Sean's pulling out.
Oh, yes, I can see that now, too. Yeah, this attack looks like it's not going to be successful. And that is going to put 2K ahead economically here, I think. Especially given... Oh, my God. Did all these probes... Oh, no, the probes have been saved. But this Zealot is making quite a nuisance of himself up in the base.
Well, the main thing they did there was delay that push out. So there's... You know, it's a 4-gate. There's a 4-gate coming. The problem that Sean's got is he's got 2 gates. And 2 gates against 4 gates is not going to work very well.
That is a losing number of gates.
That is a losing number of gates. And already we're seeing Ben have as many Stalkers as Sean has right now. So they've really got to... He's really got to get some gates down and get defensive.
Absolutely. Interesting little tidbit here. You were actually the winner of the first season on behalf of SEGA.
Yeah, it was quite a long time ago now.
Yeah, you and Paz, I believe.
Yeah, me and Paz. That was Paz being the guy who, of course, carried the team, and I was just there as the meat shield, really.
Ah, well, you know, somebody's got to be the meat shield. Paz was actually totally crazy. Like, we would watch his play and go, I'm not actually sure how this has occurred, but he now has 70 probes and 8 bases.
Yeah, and is maxed on Immortals.
Exactly. He was insane. Is he actually... I mean, I felt like he was a Grandmaster in the SEA servers, I believe.
Yeah, he really didn't play that much. So, like, I think he would just occasionally... Hey, we better talk about this.
Yeah.
That's doing really well. Those roaches did massive damage to the Stalkers, but I don't think the Terran Bioball is gonna knock this back.
No, the stim looks like it has done itself quite well here, and Dell now kind of moving back up. They may even counter here, although I don't know. Without Medivacs, I don't know if they've got the legs for this. If they stim one more time, they're going to be down to about half health, and they will die very, very quickly. But there are just not many numbers here. There are a lot of Banelings now being morphed in, but is this going to be enough? Are they going to be able to morph in time?
And that's not what you want, is losing the pylons, parrying your gates at the front. It's all really down to Mike. Can Mike hold on at this point?
Yeah.
There's 2 gates just walked in, so we have an equal number of gates now, but there's a robo up for Dell, so...
They're just going to have to let these gates die. If they try to save them, they're going to lose those Banelings, and then that's going to be all she wrote.
Slow Banelings.
They just did not do the damage they really needed to do there. And those Marauders with the concussive shell really were the heroes in that battle. Slowing those Banelings down and letting them die before they made those significant hits that they needed to do.
And when the pylon goes up in your base, you know you're in trouble.
Yeah, this is bad time city from Disky, and he has pulled his drones now and is trying to kill Marauders with drones. It did actually work. It was not too bad considering they were low health, but they will... No, well, BenAD now is under threat from these Lings, but he may still have the numbers to be able to pull these away. He's got Zealots to spare here.
And there's a whole bunch more Terran about to turn up as well, so I think our SEGA friends are in a little bit of trouble here.
I think so too, and this could be the grand final. This could be the final match.
The decider, as you put it.
Yeah, we may not go to 7 here. It looks like this is going to be all she wrote, and the GG goes up from Sean, and GG's thrown around.
Absolutely, well played to 2K Australia.
That's right. And they have had a phenomenal year this year. Not only releasing one of the finest games of 2013, Bioshock Infinite. Have you played that, by the way?
I own it. I haven't played it yet. I'm looking extremely forward to it as soon as I get some time to sit down and play through it. So
absolutely, this is a Daft Punk situation where I want to sit down Saturday morning in my pajamas and just play through to Sunday night, non-stop.
I think it'll be totally worth it.
Definitely.
And you can get your partner just to bring you food and cookies and new battery packs for your 360 controller.
Now that is optimistic. That's incredibly optimistic. She'll be bringing me divorce papers and sleeping bags.
Oh dear.
No, but yeah, they have done incredibly well and just played phenomenally in this grand final as well. And looks like they are going to take it out altogether. Fantastically done by them. Just incredible play, and they did incredibly well in this game too to hold off that early aggression.
Absolutely. They just had the right stuff up at the right time. Having 4 gates against 2, held on and were able to push back. And we're seeing Sean be a bit cheeky here with a forge and a couple of pylons down.
He is.
He's cannon rushing, actually.
He is. He's the cannon rush in this base. This base is being demolished, but
I just scrolled down and saw a floating orbital. I'm like, what is that? And oh, okay.
That is a cheeky forge and a series of cannons. Both bases now being cannoned.
Oh, Sean.
That is awesome. That is a great way to go out. If you're going to go out, couldn't think of a better way to do it.
Absolutely. And there's more cannons going up around Ben's base as well, so just
that's great. I love that. Looks like he's out of money now, though. He's got 105 in the bank. I don't believe that is enough for another cannon, and so he will go down fighting.
Absolutely. There we go.
SEGA fighting, and there we go. So victory to 2K Australia. Congratulations to them. And
as one of the players in the competition, I'd like to really thank you and Jason for putting this on and taking the time to cast the games. It's really been a fun thing, and we keep coming back because it's a really good fun thing, and you get to meet some people of different agencies and hang out and play games and drink beer occasionally. And we want to say a really big thank you to you guys for putting this on, so we really appreciate it.
No problem, man. Anytime. I love putting these on. I love talking to all the people who compete, and it's always a pleasure. So thank you very much for playing, and for all the teams who played. A big thank you to all of you guys. And yeah, we'll keep an eye on the website because Season 4 will be happening sometime. I don't know whether it'll be later in this year or possibly early next year, but it will be happening.
Excellent. I'll have to talk to you about that off stream, obviously, but well played to both SEGA and 2K for making it to the finals, and 2K for taking it out.
Alright, well, we might leave the stream here. Congratulations to all of... congratulations to 2K. And yeah, again, thank you to everyone who competed, and thanks to everyone on the stream who watched. And we'll see you next tournament.
Awesome.
Thanks,
cool.
guys.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Catch you later.